Penny, you there? Is this better?
Yeah, there are people joining in. So
Akshay, let us know when we'll have to start. Okay.
Yeah, it has started. Like you can come on camera.
yeah.
Okay, great.
So you can wait for a couple of minutes, then start. Okay.
Sure. Akshay, how many have joined till now? 8.
It's including us. So we're just waiting.
Got their own career trajectory which you would have to build. Talking about why specifically HR, the scenario has changed in the past 10-15 years. It is not much of the basic recruitment or the record keeping which the HR is doing. It is basically with respect to the entire talent management and the talent development that one has to do in the HR. It would not be just restricted to entering or preparing the MIS or talking one-on-one connects with the employees. It would be more based upon what exactly is the issue, how exactly I as an HR business partner would derive at a certain solution, and then how exactly that organization is going to benefit. So a lot of things change during the course of time, and that is how I believe that you first need to decide at what exactly you need to do. And if you want to come in HR, then what Pranay and Vaishnavi has mentioned, this would be your career chart, the full trajectory. So if this something is what excites you, you can go for HR.
Thank you very much, Ishan. So what are the possible ways of building a career in HR? So if you would like to go again, Ishan. Ishan, are you there? Or Pranay, if you can go first.
Yeah, okay. So when you ask me, so your question says, what are the possible ways?
Yeah.
Right?
How can you get into, how can you make a career in HR? What are the things that you should know?
Okay. So first thing first, we should, there's always a conception in the mind that people should know a lot of things, right? Uh, as my friend Ishan was telling, see, it's a process. And in the process, you will get to know a lot of things, right? You might not know in the start of it, right? So when you say that you want to build a career, you have to which Ishan was telling, understand where is your likeliness or where is your inclination to go, right? So if I want to say what sort of career path can be made into an HR fraternity or domain of HR, I can divide it into three parts, right? And which are precisely broader roles which people do, right? One is the administrative HR or the IR part of it, which is industry relationship, right? Or employee relations, which we call it, right? Industrial relation or employee relations. That is a very, very specific vertical of HR where you have to deal with a lot of laws, with a lot of implication, administrative, legal compliances, and all of that, right? Followed in every organization. So if you are interested in, there are so many legal books which you have to go through for a single case, and they are so complex. And Vaishnavi can add on to it, but she has done it she has done it in a great detail and data. And I mean, like that is something which is one path, okay, purely into industrial relations. Now, the other path which we can take is the business partnering. What I have been doing since the start of my journey with Mahindra and Mahindra, which Ishan has also been doing, right? Where you partner with the business and try to solve the business problems through your HR initiatives. Now, when I say business problems, so if someone can ask me a question that, let's say my organization is not making a profit and I'm not able to turn on to a profit making organization, I'm just incurring the cost and not able to get the return out of it. Then what do HR do? What does HR do into it, right? So when you deep down do the analysis of it, and there are various ways in which you can do. When you find out the root cause of it, and if you are able to find out that at the end of the day there's a human factor which is not leading up to the optimal performance, right? So if there are 10 people team and they are not properly engaged, how do you actually expect them to put up those kind of effort that the organization can become profitable, right? So this is the business problem. And you can only try and find out when you do a very deep dive analysis and try to see that a business problem has a lot of HR implications. Therefore, you have a domain or a stream of HR which is called business partnering, where you resolve such types of issues by partnering along with the business, and that is called the HR business partnering. Now, there's a third vertical to it, and the third vertical is the specific interventions or pillars of HR. Like those people who are interested in HR, they must be knowing that what all we do as HR fraternity. We are doing talent acquisition right now. Vaishnavi is doing that. Earlier, I have done that. Ishan has also done that. We do talent management. When you acquire, you also have to manage. You have to give them training. You have to do their performance evaluation. You have to build their competencies. There are various streams, and these are very, very particular streams. If you want, you can also target to become the expert of any one vertical, right? So you can become the center of excellence for talent acquisition, and you can build your career as a talent acquisition specialist. Okay. You can become an expert in training and development. So become a center of excellence in training and development or capability building, skill development, performance management, compensation and benefit. One of the very, very elite stream of becoming a CEO, right? So I think when you say that how can a person build his or her career in HR, I think these are the three pathways which one can take, and then try and it can incline towards anywhere. There are people who are very, very idea oriented and they want to build on a lot of frameworks, thoughts. They can be the consultants and become the CEO. Some people who really want to do problem solving, they can go into HR business partnering. Some people who are really into compliance, legal, administratives, they can go into IM. So I think that's those are the three ways in which you can make your career in HR. Those are the three paths, right? So I'm sorry I've taken a little bit long time, but I just wanted to bring these 3 points ahead before anyone could decide.
Thank you very much, Pranay, for such a detailed explanation. And anything that Vaishnavi that or Ishan you'd like to add on to this point?
Yes, I can do that. Vaishnavi, do you want to do it or should I?
You can go ahead, Ishan.
Okay, fine. So I think Pranay has summarized it quite well, that what are the different roles or the trajectories that would be available in HR. Apart from this, what I feel, there are few more interesting parts of HR. The first is that if anyone amongst this pool is interested in the data analytics, then obviously they can pick up the HR analytics part, right? Now, HR analytics would involve a lot of things wherein you can calculate the reverse attrition rate, that if currently these are the people who are leaving in my company, what it would be after 6 months, right? Now, this is like a smaller part of HR analytics. Then you have got Power BI, wherein you could automate few of the critical but repeatable reports of HR. This is where the HR automation would also come in, and the person should be, and this automation would basically not replace someone, but it is going to actually upskill someone, because someone would learn that how exactly this automation has to be performed, which in turn would benefit the organization and would benefit the individual also, that he or she would be excelling in the HR analytics. The second part with different HR roles is what we call as which is currently in the market, is called the HR cloud advisor. A lot of new age tech HRMS companies would hire HR people for recommending their HRMS and how exactly a new age HRMS would be implemented in the company. This is basically done by the implementation team, but a lot of tech companies would hire a lot of HR who have interest in this kind of role. So this basically is called as an HR cloud advisor. These two are the two main roles which I think are coming up in the market, and there are a lot of demands apart from the traditional role. Talent management, performance management, reporting, ops, payroll, everything would be there. But for these specific roles, I have seen like a very good companies, a lot of companies are hiring for this role, and they would not want you to have a prior experience. They are ready to train you also in this sort of roles. It is just upon whether do you want to do it or not. So yes.
Thank you very much, Ishan. So we have received a couple of questions. So I'll take it one by one. First question is from Trupti. She's saying that, hello, I'm an MBA aspirant. I'm inclined towards HR, but at the same time, for future, I wish to work abroad after MBA in HR. So I have heard that HR has hardly any chances to work abroad. So what are your opinion about it? If someone like me who cannot afford to do MBA now from abroad, but wish to work in HR and work abroad in future, how does the path look like? So anyone of you would like to take this up? Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, am I audible clearly?
Yes, yes.
So I think the question can be broken into two parts. First is that is there a chance of HR as a future in abroad? And the second question part is that I work right now here and then go abroad, and then what happens if I want to do HR there? So the first part I think is to a certain extent she's right. In terms of HR, if I talk about, there's two parts to it. One is your IR side of it, and then there is your HR part of it, which obviously, Pranay spoke about and Ishan spoke about talent acquisition, talent management, all these COEs which work, you would have commonly heard about. And then there is a IR part of it, which is more on a compliance side, which is more on, which is very local to this country or the city where you are working and operating.
Basically,
right?
the laws.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what happens is that, whenever you, so it is very easy to switch in the roles like HR analytics, talent acquisition, talent management space from here to abroad. Okay. So when I say easy, then also you, because we as a function interact with human beings, and this interaction changes as the culture changes from one country to another. So somewhere, calling a sir could be respect, but in some other place it don't be a respect, right? Sometime without asking the pronoun, assigning someone her or she, could be a disrespect. But in our country, it is how, it is not considered as a disrespect. So, as an HRE, actually, before we work anywhere, whether it is in India or in abroad, you need to understand the culture and the custom of where you are working and what is acceptable there and what is not acceptable there. So this is something you will not find it written anywhere. So if you are a person who want to go into HR, you need to understand the pulse, whether it is an organization or a country, that what is acceptable here as a customer and what is not acceptable. Now coming to the IR side, if I talk about, there are a lot of laws, where the countries differ. And that's also whenever you go abroad, you might need to do some course or certification to understand the laws over there. What are the labor laws over there? What is even PF, gratuity, everything changes. So the basic of, what is there in India will be very different from any other country you will go and work. So obviously as an HR, if I talk about data analytics, talent acquisition, talent management, all these areas, if you really excel in it, there are a lot of roles in abroad which actually are there, and you can go and work over there if you prove your mettle in these areas. And if you really want to go into a manufacturing setup and want to contribute in that way, then I would advise first go for some law and legal. First upgrade yourself. And when I say upgrade yourself, this is something you need to do constantly today. It is not like once I have done MBA in HR, I got a job and I stop upgrading myself. So even if you're deciding to work in India, I think constantly upgrading is very important. So if you are, so Pranay also beautifully explained that if you want to become a comp and then expert, then you have to constantly upgrade about what is going on. How can you build a tax, So I think the answer to your question is obviously you can go, but yes, there will be you need to upgrade yourself wherever you are going. And second part, if I say that, you don't, the second part of the question was that I go to abroad, I do MBA in HR there, and what is my future there? So again, same thing. Rather, I would just, this is my own experience. So I was actually searching through few of the job profiles for Tata Steel Europe and other organized, which is not based out of India, Tata Steel, which is based out of India. And you will not believe that as Indian organizations, we are much automated or we are using data much better way than what they are using at current time. So it is no guarantee, I would say, that only because it is abroad, they are ahead of us in HR. Obviously, the technologies may be easily available, but how you put into use everything is something you need to learn yourself and you need to upgrade yourself. And if you're able to do, then there are plenty of roles in abroad, especially in HR analytics and this data-related roles, where an HR person is able to understand that role and then bring out insights and help their team work on.
Thank you very much, Vaishnavi. I hope, Pranay, I think you want to add something.
Yeah, so just a couple of points. See, don't take any misconception in your mind that if you have done HR, MBA in HR, you do not have a scope in other countries, right? Um, there are examples which I have, and there are friends of mine, colleagues of mine who have worked with me specifically in organizations like Mahindra and others, and they are placed in other countries doing a wonderful job, right? Now, so the thin line is what Vaishnavi was trying to also explain is that you need to really understand where do you add value. Now, if it is a very peculiar thing about the Indian context, you might not be able to replicate the same to another country because there is a country context to it, right? But if it is in general, it's like physics. So for a Newton's law of motion, the first or the second or the third is equal for us in India and is equal for people in USA, right? So for us, the concept of HR, the organizational behavioral theories are equal for us in India and are equal for them in the other country, right? So do not have any sort of a misconception that you cannot do or you cannot pursue a career abroad. You have to be really, really choosy and you have to make your own ways, right? And there are plenty opportunities. To be really frank with you, there are many opportunities. If you hit the bullseye right, you will get a good job in HR in other countries also. One thing which I wanted to add is there are project-based roles, and in India there are continuous roles or permanent employment, right? In many foreign countries or in many Western or European countries, there are gig roles, there are project-based roles, right? And if you are really a specialist of any one of the areas which we were talking about, you can actually do a lot of consulting, a lot of project work. And I think that will again give you another stream of opportunity to work abroad, right? So no dearth of it. It's a win-win. You do an MBA here, go and work in other countries. No doubt about it. You can get an opportunity.
Thank you very much, Pranay. So we have next question. It's from Osomon. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. So the question is that I've completed my bachelor's in international relations and I have a decent interpersonal communication skills and interpersonal relationship management skills, which I've nurtured during my graduation. Is it advisable for to pursue PGPM HR being a fresher? So anyone who'd like to take this? Pranay, Ishan.
Okay,
Sorry.
so Ishan, you wanted
Pranay, I
to
was going to say, please go ahead.
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so just give me a moment. Right. So also one writes that is it advisable to pursue PGPM in HR being a fresher? So PGPM in HR is not a competitive exam wherein you would need to have this sort of percentage and then only you could pursue it, right? As I said in during my initial talks only that do you really want to do this? We have discussed about the different kind of roles that are present in HR. There would be a lot of back and forth and there would be a lot of responsibilities that are going to be there on your shoulder. It is a critical function with respect to the cost also. So HR as a business partner also serves as a cost center, right? So you would be responsible for the P&L of your business unit or for the entire organization that you are handling, right? Obviously, once you do MBA in HR, you would not become pro or trained in this kind of role. There would be a trajectory that you would follow. There would be a specific role that would be allocated to you. It could be HR analyst, it could be talent acquisition, it could be anything. And from there on, you would learn. So since we have worked a bit of about in the HR industry, and that is where we are saying that these are the roles available, but these roles were not given to us specifically when we graduated. It was over a period of time that these roles emerged. We were a fit. My managers found us a fit for those roles, and then we were given those roles. So initially, everyone is going to start from a basic level, a basic role of what HR does, which mostly most of the companies are doing these days. They'll put you into talent acquisition, they'll put you into business partnering, or they would put you directly into the HR ops side. And that is how you would be there, you would spend some time, and then you would grow. So it is obviously advisable to pursue an MBA in HR because that is where you are coming from, and it is not like an IAS exam that once you clear it you would be directly posted as a DM of any territory, right? You would be first evaluated for a job role, you would be given certain set of tasks, there would be performance management for you, you would be evaluated, and then you would grow your career path in that.
Thank you very much. So also, if I can add on, these are two different things. PGDM is a 2-year course, PGPM is a 1-year course. And if anyone else wants to add on to this point, that should they pursue a PGPM, because he specifically mentioned PGPM being a fresher, and PGPM program is basically for experienced people. So this is one point I wanted to also add on.
So just one thing before even I answer, I'm not sure what international relations are really. I'm not sure if some of you can try and explain me what is international relation, because there's no context to it. Relations in what sense, right? I don't know. There might be a bachelor's degree to it,
Yeah.
but when someone says that they want to go in a 1-year program or a PGPM sort of a program, so don't hesitate from the point of fact that see, it is your choice. Okay, you can be a fresher and come to a 1-year program and start your journey from there as a fresher, because as Ishan explained you very beautifully, it is not about where you start from. It will actually be a journey for you, right? So you will land up into some sort of a role as per your skill, competencies, and knowledge, whatever you are having. Correct. The second part to it is when you say that you want to come up for a program as a fresher, it does not mean you cannot add a value to it. Okay. See, there are many roles which Ishan was again telling in a previous answer that people are actually interested to take fresh minds because there's no baggage, or the slate is very clean. And whatever the organization wants to groom you into, they will do that, right? So you have to be a lot open to taking up, and as there was a very famous and Ishad and Vaishnavi can say I'm feeling a little nostalgic. People are not in our days of MBA. They were telling that learn to unlearn, right? How you unlearn the part. So if you have a lot of experience, there's a little difficulty in adapting to newer areas. But if you are fresh, it becomes as easy as coming from a fresh oven. You can put even a mayonnaise, a ketchup, or a butter and taste it, right? So it's like that. So there's no, I mean, like I think we should not question that if you're a fresher that you should not join a 1 year course. Absolutely, you should.
Thank you very much. We'll take the next question from Paulomi. She says, what type of job can we get? What will be the salary? And all wanted to know this and the growth as an HR. So I think
Extremely
she's asking
important question.
the
Salary is
perfect
extremely
question to
important.
the perfect people.
I think Vaishnavi is earning the highest, so I think she'll take this question.
How did-
Salary is extremely important.
Anyone would like to take this?
Nice. So I think so she's asking that like what is the get, what is the salary?
What type of job we can get? What's the salary? And what's the growth prospect? She has 3 parts. So
So
we can quickly just, yeah, thank you.
So honestly, what kind of roles? I would say essentially, if you are a fresher and if you are someone who is new to HR, I definitely feel that one should do the HRBP role, the generalist HR generalist role, because it gives you a flavor of all the functions which is necessary to actually you need to understand about yourself first before understanding the organization or something else. So when you do an HRBP role, now you know that this is something I really like doing it. This is something I'm okay doing it, and this is something I hate doing it. And I would not like to further, plunge myself into it. So I think as a fresher or as a person just entering the industry, it is very essential to go for an HRBP, HR generalist role rather than just going into a COE function. So I'm not saying that if you get an opportunity, don't go. But what I advise that even if you want to make a policy for the organization, you need to understand the business first. You need to understand the culture. You need to understand pulse before making anything for them. So in terms of roles, I would say, and once you have done this HRBP role or HR generalist sort of a role, and you know that, okay, I'm good at, policy making. I'm good at compensation. I'm good with numbers. Then I am good with this, if I feel that I'm good with people, or I'm good with knowing things. So then you can carve your career path according to that. So in any organization, after 3 years, you generally get an opportunity to switch roles, and you also have an understanding that what is it next I want to do. So also I want to share something, somebody shared with me in my current organization. So whenever suppose when I was an HRBP, I was always told to act as if you are the head. So don't wait for instructions from above, but act, you are the head. And so that you get prepared yourself for the next role. So similarly, right, today, whenever I'm in talent acquisition, so rather than just saying that this is my job, why not I, work and learn in a way that what if tomorrow I start heading talent acquisition for the entire organization? So what all should be there? So you should always prepare for your future from today, and you should always think 2 steps ahead. So if you are in an organization at a manager level, think as a head what would he or she would do, or what is that approach, and start doing that, because that will actually set up a growth ladder for you. And when people see that you already have that what is needed for the 2 level down or 2 level up, sorry, so your growth options and avenues start opening up. So you're no more constrained to a single role. Then whatever you ask for, the organization is ready to give you. So you should always become that indispensable person in the organization through your work, that whatever you want to explore, the organization is ready to give you that. Or you get an opportunity to do that when you can move out of the organization. There are plenty of options. So coming to the salary part, so I mean pretty well you get paid up. It's I mean maybe you start with a nominal amount, or I don't know what is nominal in your view and what is nominal in my view, but something which is I would say the industry benchmark or something to start with. Even if you start with a lower industrial benchmark, concentrate in your growth in the initial years. I would emphasize on that. And as you keep progressing, I'm sure that the more the job switches or within the organization, the salary and everything follows you. So I think excellence is what you need to achieve, and the money part actually follows you. And the third question, what she asked, the roles.
Growth prospect.
Growth prospect, yeah. So I think as an HR, you need not be an HR in the organization for a long time. So you can, so for example, if you want to become a coach, leadership, executive search or something like that, when you know this is something I'm good at, I want to do it. So I would say you should always be ready with your next 10-year plan down the line. So next 10-year, suppose I'm right now, next 10-year, I should have done 3 roles. I should have carved this much. So put it, you can make your own checklist and kind of take this I should have done. If your organization is not providing, go and search out for options where you can learn. There are a lot of certifications in the market from reputed organizations, which you can learn, which you can skill yourself, upgrade yourself. So once you have done with this, now I have done in my 10 years what is my next 10-year plan? Where I want to be in the next 10 years? Suppose in next 20 years, I want to start my own firm of leadership coaching. Then what all I should start doing from today? And I think your planning will determine your growth prospect more than the educational qualifications. So there are many people I know in the organization I'm working, they have been working for many years as HR professional, and if that gives them happiness, good. But then there are people who, keep on looking out for challenges. They are not happy with the roles they get, or they constantly look out for others. So, and I also want to say that, there are many organizations like Mahindra or very big organizations out there where you can even move across the group companies. So it is never limited that you have joined one organization, you have to stay in that organization, you can only do that. So I think what ultimately it comes down to is what you want and how much you are ready to give it to that. I think that's what I feel.
Thank you very much, Vaishnavi. We have next question from Abhilash. He says, what concrete steps I can take to position myself for people leadership roles? I am currently an HR analyst, not an actual HR rep. I work on enabling tech and use of SaaS products for business in recruiting and onboarding. Anyone who would like to take this?
Okay, let me take this up. So I think an interesting question. Now, this is the reverse side of it, right? We have seen people moving from conventional HR to going from HR towards HR analytics, right? And now someone who's really interested in coming from HR analytics or a data sort of a background or a techie background to become a people's leader, right? So the good part is that when someone already does the tech or has done the background work, so if you are doing matrices of recruiting, you will know that what KPIs are actually followed, right? So if I say that the key performance indicators for a recruitment team can be the talent acquisition time or the turnaround time, or we say TAT. Okay. So you know that there's a KPI of TAT. You know that there's a KPI of let's say the RSLAs or the waiting time or the time which is being wasted because a lot of factors which come in, right? So you know what are the parameters, correct? Now, since you already know that these are the parameters, when you go into a role which is people oriented, you can actually make an impact by understanding what is the problem which is causing the KPIs or not achieving the actual or the ideal number or a data. Okay. So when you know the background of it, or when you already know the matrices, you will be able to more understand it more deeply, right? That problem, where is actually the problem which is causing not to get the matrices? Okay, so the transition can be either side. You can transition from a business partnering from a generalist role to an analytic role also, because there you know the problem. If you know the problem, you can try and build a solution through the help of that tech. And when you know the tech, when you come to the problem or the ground reality part, you know how to actually use the tech to make the situation a better, right? So there's no, I mean, like I don't see a challenge of people coming from a background like a SaaS background or HR as a service. Like there's organization called People Strong, right? I interned with them. They make HRMS systems, right? There's PeopleSoft, there's Oracle, there are SAP. There are various organizations who make HRMS systems and all, right? So when the people have the knowledge and understanding of how to develop an HRMS system, they can easily transition to a business HR sort of a role or a generalist sort of a role, because they know that if there is an issue, how can I actually solve the problem with the help of a tech intervention? Okay, so I think if you are having an interest, when you land up into such sort of a role, you can utilize your past experience better. So that's my take on to this question, but an interesting one, because I've not seen many people doing this reverse way. But if having an interest, definitely should go for it, because that is how the chief HR officers are made. I would say that they know both sides of it
Thank you
mostly.
very much. We have next question from Abhishek Thakur. He says, how HR manages critical decision considering HR is aware of the reality, but bound to business more than resource while trying to adjust resource into project or retain. I'll quickly repeat the question. How HR manage critical decisions considering HR is aware of the reality, but bound to business more than resource while trying to adjust resource into project. I hope I'm trying to make sense now.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
question is pretty much clear. I think
Yeah.
it's a and those who have been into HR business partnering roles, they actually understand what the question is
Absolutely.
coming from, right? Uh, I'll just give an answer to it in a very short manner. You have to always have to balance out the things, right? When you have two hats to wear, one is the HR hat and another is the business hat. You can't wear both of them together. Okay. So my dear friend, when you land up into a situation like this, you have to always weigh the pros and cons. Where is the benefit of the organization? See, when you say business, human resource, and organization, the ultimate is organization. Okay. Everyone works for the organization. If you are, and even if you are having your own organization, the utmost aim is to take the organization to another level. So whenever you land up into such decisions, please keep the organizational objectives and goals at the helm and take your decisions. That is what is my answer to this question. If
Okay.
Ishan and Vaishnavi can add, they must have had many such instances, I
I
believe.
think I have next question for Vaishnavi. How MBA in HR colleges like XLRI, TOSS, SF, SCHMRD differs from MBA in HR college from DSET college like tier 2?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I think so. I'm not going to name colleges which are in tier 1 and tier 2, etc. like that. But someone asked me the previous question which came to me: what is the money you earn after doing MBA in HR? That is actually very much determined from the tier college you come from. If I really say, also being in an organization where we hire from all these colleges, so there are. I always put it into three aspects of it. First, which are the students who are going into these colleges. So why today we say that Excel is good, then why we are defining them as tier 1 and tier 2. So first is the CAT percentage or the ZAT percentage in which the admission is happening. Right. So these are the most brilliant minds going there, 99, 98. then there is a strenuous process which is followed for admission into these colleges. Then second part comes to the faculty and education, where I agree that even tier 2, tier 3 colleges can have faculties and education better than the tier 1 and tier 2. So I will not say that, that is not possible. And it is it is completely the student's ability to grasp, whether you are, that does not, that I would say in that way, tiering is not something. But yes, obviously the tier 1, or generally if I talk about, so tier 1, your IMs, your XLRIs, they will have a faculty which is much experienced, which is renowned, who have published papers. But at the same time, if a tier 2 college is able to pull that out, I mean, that does not, determine. And the third thing which really determines is the placement. So, when we are talking about tier 1 colleges and, tier 2 and tier 3 colleges, obviously the CTC, the packages, like for example, someone doing in HR, in Excel, or I think you mentioned about SI Pune and SCHMRD Pune and all. So like an Excel HR person can also be taken into a business because they know that this person will be able to pull that. So they have the trust and the gamble they play on the students' IQ, or whatever they have been taught. So third thing which distinguishes between these tiers is obviously the placement ranks and the CTCs. So how they are placed in the organization. So many of the CEOs of the organizations are Excels. Many entrepreneurs are maybe IMs. We see IM A, B, C people, but that never. I'm not saying that people from tier 2, tier 3 cannot do that. But if I really talk about what is so different, I think they have a sense of confidence. And they have a risk ability. I have seen 3 colleges like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 in my own organization, and I can really say that tier 1 has a great risk ability. And where this risk ability comes from, because you know that I'm an IM or I am an Excel, so I know wherever I go I have a job. So why not take risk when I can take a risk ability in terms of that.
We have 3 live examples sitting in front of us.
Akshay, can I add with just one thing?
Yes,
It will
please,
take a
please.
minute. It is for like all the attendees. So when you talk about tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3, I am basically against the concept of this, because anyone who makes into tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3 is basically judged upon the ability to reproduce a content which you have learned in an exam of 3 to 4 hours, right? This is not going to determine your life. Everyone has a pretty good shot at life. So 3 से 4 घंटे के एग्जाम में please do not feel demotivated that I'm not able to crack a tier 1 college. The word is divided into template. What a template of a good B school is like, what a template of a good student is like, what a template of a good organization is like. LinkedIn pay, if you will go, you will find n number of updates from people who are cracking tier 1 colleges, but you will hardly find any update from any tier 2 or any tier 3 person mentioning upon LinkedIn that I've got MBA and admission in this. This is how exactly the things operate, and this is how which demotivates us. So everyone has got a pretty good shot in life. Content, the curriculum, everything is same. Few colleges would have got few great faculties who would come and teach you great industry exposure. The other colleges would also provide you that. The ones which have established, they would obviously give you a better compensation because they have a fixed companies who would come and they have a brand name. For the others, if you are doing it from tier 2 and tier 3, you would get a decent amount, but then how exactly you grow and how exactly you learn and how exactly you surpass. The ones who got admission in tier 1 surpassed you by clearing an exam of 3 or 4 hours and they got 99 percentile, but you still got 15-20 years in front of you. You could surpass them anytime.
True. So we actually have received this question. So how is soil different from XLRI, TIS, NMIMS, MDI? Anyone who would like to take this up?
Okay. So, see, in my view, again, I agree to Ishan that you do not have to compare colleges from the point of view of how they are. Okay, it is every organization institute adds a different sort of value. So for me, I think I can say and I can vouch for this soil. Why? Because it's a lot of value based education. It's a lot of environmental based question where you will curriculum or a campus where you will have to not just think from the point of view of your course content, but a lot many things which teaches a lot many life lessons also. So Try and choose the institute as per your need and requirement. My request to everyone who is there in this webinar, whosoever is trying to understand this, please, there are two factors to it. One, what do you want to do in life? Second, how do you accept the reality of it? Okay, please try and accept the realities and move forward accordingly. The earlier question which someone has asked, try and understand that life will not provide you less opportunities. The opportunities are equal for all of us. It is how we perform in those given opportunities. And whatever we get, we have to work in accordance to that. So it's a philosophical answer which you might feel that someone is giving this sort of a gyan, but that's the fact. Whatever comes to you with the basis of a reality which is there in hindsight. So don't leave that. Accept it. If you accept it, you will be able to handle it better. Otherwise, you will always be in the mode of cribbing कि यार अरे पहला tier 1 नहीं मिला tier 2 नहीं मिला salary कम मिल गई salary ज़्यादा मिल गई. This will always be. Then the war will never end. So the sooner you accept your reality, you will be in more peace. Now, how is soil different? I told you soil adds a different value. It's a value-based institute, not an institute which just gives you course curriculum. It teaches you a lot of life skills. That is how soil is different from, I think, from these colleges. And I've not heard a lot many these colleges giving you a lot of life skills. And they might be giving, and no disrespect to any of them. They are a very, very elite institute. So, but that is how I feel.
So,
So just adding to what Pranay
Yeah.
said, I also feel that at soil, especially what I felt really, and one of the main reasons when I was joining soil, the faculty, I think the faculty here is so helpful and they are available for you, and you get to learn from the best of the people in the field. And there are certain subjects, like system thinking, design thinking. So this is not many taught in even in the elite schools which we are talking about, right? So when you go back to work and you know that this, so I would say the soil is no less to any of the elite institutes in terms of its curriculum, in terms of the faculty members who comes and teaches us, because what they are teaching is something which is very industry relevant today. It is not something just from the book we are being taught. It is something you go and you apply. So you are at an advantage than many other people who have just done books and then come into the organization and then they struggle to apply what they have learned. But with soil and its curriculum and the faculty, application becomes very easy in your work because your projects are very life oriented. It's not about books, right? In any of the curriculum we learned at soil, I think none of it was only books. It was always about why don't you go and do a life project, and so, and wherever you get stuck, I think the faculty was so kind enough to be available. So not only during the soil, I would say I have connected with my faculty, even after coming out of the soil at my work, when I had to get some research papers, and they were equally available at that point of time also. I think that is something, and the soil has certain subjects, which the maybe even the elites do not have, and which make you very much relevant when you go into an industry.
Thank you very much. Since we are running short of time, so Pranay is answering a question already, career growth as a pharma student. So I'll take on the next question. How flexible, it's from Saurav Adhya. How flexible is it to switch to corporate world, particularly in HR, for a candidate who is carrying a technical experience of almost 4 years as a government lecturer after BTech in metallurgy? Anyone who would like to take this up?
Okay, let me tell it quickly. So 4 years of experience as government lecturer after BTech in metallurgy. So I think first thing is that you have already done BTech, you already know what sort of pressures are there in the market and how exactly you would cope up with those pressures. So the BTech for 4 years would prepare you for that. Second is that you are already a government lecturer, so you would be exposed to a lot of different kind of people whom you would be teaching into. So a lot of people skills already are there in you. The third thing is about the what we call as something called as due diligence. So if you are teaching or if you are giving any sort of lecture, there will be a lot of due diligence, and like learning that you would have to do upon your own to be able to give that curriculum, right? So once you are there in the HR, there will be a lot of due diligence, there will be a lot of responsibilities that would be there in you. So if I talk about all these things relate to one simple thing, which is competencies. So you already have certain set of competencies which are required for any job role, not exactly for HR. And these would help you. So it is not about if you are a government lecturer, you cannot pursue this. You already got those competencies. You just need to build it as per what would be required in the HR domain. That's it.
Great. That was short and crisp. So, can you talk about Soil's HR course? Soil's HR course.
Soils HR course is just fantastic. There isn't anything which is lacking. I personally feel the same. I still have my notebook from 5 years back, which I learned, and everyone knows that I carry with that with me. Currently, also, if you are going to speak with any other MBA colleges or any other students, we go for campus placement, we still find that things that were taught to us are still not present in many of the B schools. It is not a traditional copy book pen style of teaching that would be there. Everything would be case study based. Vaishnavi and Pranay were the champion for case studies, so they know it pretty well. And everything would be based upon live projects. There would be people, mentors who would be coming from outside. They'll give you a real business problem and a timeline to solve it. There would be group discussions, and that is how you would actually know half of the things. That if a problem is with respect to organization development, performance management, or with the payroll, there would be so many live projects you would be doing, and everything would just fall in place. So it wouldn't be like a traditional CAT or a GMAT exam where you would have to, write only specific answers. It would be more based upon what do you think could be a probable solution. So I think curriculum, faculty members, alumni, everything is just fantastic. So there isn't any question about that.
Thank you very much. Once
Just
again.
Akshay, can you just affirm if the mentorship program is still active,
Yes,
both
it is.
internal and external both, right?
Internal, external, both. Yes.
Okay, so one thing which I just wanted to add, if you listen to Ishant's answer, this is actually what practically which happens. But one thing more which soil will offer you is about the mentor, which is both. So you get two mentors. Per student, you have two mentors, which is one is an internal and another is an external mentor also. So a lot of industry knowledge, gaining their experience, learning from the external mentors' experience is something what you can do. So if you're a fresher and you are an inquisitive person, you will have a lot of questions. Feel free to ask it. Again, I am telling you, a lot of your personality will define your journey in an institute. And if you want to come to soil, I think the more you keep yourselves open to learning and experiential learning, then I think you will gain a lot because you will learn in everything because everything is done in a project manner and everything is done in a group project manner. You will not work alone at any point of time. So if you are enjoying a group working and to be really frank, when you land up in an organization, actually most of the time you will not work alone. Most of the time you will have a team, someone working either like in any format. So it will give you a lot of prior experience joining to an organization. So it's adding on to your experience itself. So that's how soil it is. That's how soil is. Like you will get a lot of experiential learning.
Thank you. So any tips last two questions. One would be, so like you were talking about international relations. So Osman has actually shared that it's a BA program where I majored international relations, in which I studied about world politics, foreign policy of different countries, diplomacy, etc. So
Can you just add,
yes, please. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
that's really good.
so for this particular question, who has done international relations and all, so
Yeah.
for her own career path, I'm saying this. So you can go on this website and explore this path also of international studies and diplomatic relationships. HR is obviously one path after that, but you can also go into in peace conflicts and those kind of. There are jobs with UN which you can pursue if you're really interested in pursuing this further. So you can go. So this is one organization. Then there is Kent University, Brussels, who also offers further courses for post graduation on this. So you can go and check on this.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
just to since he has since he has told that he what has his background been. See, I think it's a good background to come for a HR course because when you study policies, when you study diplomacy, when you study politics or foreign governance rules and all, you get to apply that a lot while you're working into some business problems, right? And when you say when you have studied diplomacy, I mean, like who better than HR can be to practice it? I'm like all the way, all your career, all along your career, you have to maintain that a lot. So that's on the lighter side, but it's a very good option. Do explore it because your experience of learning those foreign policies and international relations will definitely give you a lot of ideas to solve problems which are there within your organization or system wherever you are.
Great. Thank you very much. One last question to end this webinar. Any tips that you'd like to give? Because the prospect students that we have here are for 1 year and 2 year both. So,
Right. Can I give that, Akshay?
Oh, yes, please. And we actually have received another question also.
Okay. So Vaishnavi and Pranay are already laughing. So, and I think rest 5 attendees would also be thinking that what tip is it? So basically you complete your MBA, be it one time, be it 2-year MBA. You go out there, you work, and just remember, nobody needs rock stars. We just need simple people with logic and common sense who could get the work done. You would see a lot of posts saying that we need rock stars, this, that, ye aana chahiye, wo aana chahiye. But at the end, everything boils down to what you have learned, how you are going to apply it, which is simple logic and common sense. So it is not a rocket science or not a kind of rock stars that anyone needs. Simple people who can apply what they have learned, who can find out solutions, and who could get the work done. And everybody is going to make money at the end of the day. So
Thank you very much. Pranay?
Okay, so when someone asks us a tip, I mean, like, what do you mean by tip? To come to an institute? What is the question?
Then
What does the question mean
what should be their mindset? Uh, is
before
basically what
coming to an institute?
yeah,
Okay,
before
see,
pursuing, sorry, before
as
pursuing it.
I'm
Yeah.
Okay, so as I'm again and again telling in my answer, see, for doing an MBA, you do not have to overthink. See, I've seen a lot, and to be really frank, I've seen a lot in my family also, younger brother, cousin brothers, and all. They also have a lot of questions कि MBA करने से पहले क्या क्या जानना चाहिए या क्या करके जाऊँ तो MBA करने जाऊँगा. See, don't come with a baggage. Okay, if you feel that you are ready for understanding problems and taking up the challenge of resolving those with your management skills. See, there are two types of skills which people have. One is technical, another one is managerial. And what do we precisely learn in an MBA college is how to handle the things from the managerial point of view, not technical. Otherwise, I would have been BTech and doing a role of an HR only because I have done an MBA, right? Simply, I am a BTech from electrical. I cannot do a management of human resource because I might not understand it really well. So, don't come with any sort of a baggage. That is one tip. Secondly, be open to a lot of unlearning, as I told you. Please be open to a lot of unlearning because you will have to do that a lot. And thirdly, try to enjoy more than having a lot of stress because if you are in the moment and enjoying, you will learn a lot. You will have that inquisitiveness in yourselves to even questions one of the simplest of the simplest things. And when you start doing that, your journey to finding the root causes of the problem will start. So please, and I think you as an HR, you can be a great problem solver. So please be that force of solving those problems because organization need it big time.
Thank you very much. Uh, can we take one last question? What skills should I pick up to position myself for COE, leader of talent acquisition role, and how? Like what actions I can take, what activities I need to do, what I can showcase.
Vaishnavi will answer this. She's already half a leader of talent acquisition.
So if I'm understanding the question correctly, this person is asking what skills I need to develop to become a CEO, to have a COE role.
Yeah, how to become a leader of talent acquisition?
Okay. So I think firstly, as I always say, that you need to understand for what organization you are hiring for, or who is the population you are hiring for. So more than skills, I would say that these competencies are very much the HR competencies only, but something you need to be little bit when you come to a talent acquisition side, you kind of need to understand what is the market you're operating on. So the way I will hire for doctors would be very different from the way I'll hire for engineers, right? So what is the market which I'm operating for? Then you need to have your own network of intelligence saying that this person in that company at this role is very good. So kind of many a times in MBA people say that do networking, do networking, do networking. I think the major use of this networking comes when you come to a talent acquisition role, because you need to know who are the people in the other organizations on a similar roles. Like if I'm hiring for a VP for my organization, I really need to know who are the VPs in my competitors, what are their set competencies, and this I have to do without kind of really being in that organization, because nobody's going to call and tell me कि मेरे VP के पास ये competency है, so you come and hire. So it is, I think, as a talent acquisition, you need to know your market well, whom you are hiring for, that you need to know, and negotiation skills is definitely something. I think one skill you should have is a lot of patience and negotiation. No, you should know when to stop negotiating, and you should know that now how much I can go further. So because there are times when you need to take a stand, and that stand will bring the talent in, and sometimes you need to kind of speak to a different way to your talent so that this will get a conversion rate. So I think for talent acquisition, network is very important. That and the what is the talent you are hiring for, that you should know definitely. Negotiation skills is something is very important if you are in talent acquisition. And fourth, I would say it is a little, so I'm sure in any organization, talent acquisition is a function which is very similar to sales. So you have targets, you have cycle time running on your head to fulfill. So you should be a person who has drive for results.
Yeah.
And the result is that you have the talent in your this. So if you say that I have made an effort and I'm not making a talent, the business is not going to listen to you. So I think these are 2 to 3 skills I feel is really required if you really want to be a talent acquisition. So be like a salesperson, aggressive in your approach, close the things as soon as possible, and you should be high on drive for results. That this is the talent I want, and the next 10 days I am having this person. And then there are a lot of HR stuff which you will learn, whenever you want to become. But I think this is few skills which you should really inculcate in yourself if you want to be in talent acquisition.
So I'll take it's. We have received actually one more question. So Ishan, if you could take it. So how to get success in HR field if you are a fresher? Because every fresher HR gets salary package of 15 to 18,000 only.
15 to 18,000. So that means that that person would be still under the ESIC component, and this person wants to grow and move, wake up the ladder. So obviously, it will not happen overnight. It will take some time. There wouldn't be any magic that is going to happen. You would have to work your ass off. You would have to manage your stakeholders. You would have to learn. You would have to grow. You would have to learn. You would have to switch the jobs at a required specific interval of time, wherein you think that your role is done and dusted up over here, and there is something new that you would have to pick up. So everything would happen via that only. And I don't think that 15 to 18K is something that you would get currently, because the trends have changed, and if you are doing it from any decent college, the CTC is going to be much more higher than that, and for sure, yes.
Yeah, I think I'm not very sure about that 15 to 18 figure. I don't know. That is something which is not sacrosanct. As Ishan was telling, if you are coming out of the college, which is of a tier 2 and tier 1, definitely that's not going to be the figure.
I
So
think that
don't
would be
worry
a
about
tax deduction per month. Let's motivate.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So target for that. I mean, and particularly if you come to soil, I don't think that is going to be your package. So please join soil, and I think you'll be out of that bracket fairly in 1 year time. And of course, if 2 years is also here, So within 2 years, you will be out of that bracket of salary. So don't worry.
Wonderful. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our panelists, Vaishnavi, Pranay, and Ishan, and all our attendees for taking out time, joining us, and actually giving us your thoughts. I personally am very grateful. I myself have got to learn a lot from you all, and thank you very much for your time. Have a great day ahead and have a great journey ahead, your HR journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Akshay, and thank you so much, Vaishnavi and Ishan. We should catch up soon.
Thank you, Vaishnavi.
Thank you and all the best,
Please keep
everyone.
on developing Tata Steels. I've invested around 10,000 rupees in these shares. So you are the center of excellence. Please hire good people and please make the, the share market go high. I can proudly say that my shares, the dividend is all because of Vaishnavi. Please.
Sure.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
All the
you.